I untie the hospice sheets. She's small, maybe 70 pounds, 5 foot 1 inch. She looks like she was always thin. But whatever disease she battled in the end, I can only guess because the death certificate's not ready, took even more weight off of her. She's easy to maneuver. I hope she likes listening to the Spice Girls. I undress the pink floral nightgown. I don't know if her family wants it back. It looks clean. I fold and place it aside until we're sure. I compare her name with her case number twice more. A photo hasn't been provided yet, but that's not uncommon. Maybe by the end of the day. Marguerite Rose Peggy Petlak, 76. Her birthday is the same as my mom's, but she's older. I need to call Mom when I get home. We haven't talked in a few days. Peggy is frail, but mostly unmarked. Just a few bruises. Maybe she bruised easily like me. I turn her onto her side and slide off the adult diaper. There's a giant bandage on her lower back. I brace myself and peel it off. Nothing. I guess she had caregivers that applied it preemptively to avoid bed sores. She has them on the backs of her heels too, and I can't help but assume and get mad. Did they apply them so they didn't have to check on her as often? She's naked on my table now. Some of my coworkers cover the decedents they work on at all times with little washcloths. I think it's weird to apply shame to a dead person, or the implication that all nudity is sexual. I leave her as is and spray her down with disinfectant. That was the biggest focus of my education. How to avoid spreading diseases. Second was anatomy. Third was the chemistry. I take my glove off and check her schedule on my phone. She's being viewed in 3 days. I stick my phone in my pocket under the extra large blue apron and put on a new glove. I pull arterial fluids out of the cabinet. She's not endeminous, so I don't avoid chemicals with humectants in them. She could use a little hydration. I dump 4 different kinds of bottles into the embalming machine and hit the mix cycle. I also dump a bottle of ProFlow in with them. My last manager thought the entire idea of vessel conditioners to be a scam, but I think she was just trying to save money by not ordering it. Whenever I use it, I always see better distribution through the entire arterial system, like unclogging a drain. I angle the faucet and turn on the water to dilute my mixture. I hope she doesn't need more than 3 gallons. It looks like forbidden Kool-Aid. The pink, purple, orange, and peach dyes swirled together as I watched the tank fill up with more focus than I watched the coffee maker reservoir fill this morning. I haven't been sleeping well the last few months. I wish I could say it's the nature of the job, keeping my thoughts restless at night, but it's more mundane and unidentifiable. Maybe I need a different mouthguard. I take my scalpel, grateful it's new and sharp. I see Peggy's protruding collar and put my fingers just underneath the bone there. I pull her skin down and slice. It needs to be low to hide under whatever neckline she'll be dressed in. I have 2 aneurysm hooks, one blunt and one sharp. I use the sharp one to tear through the golden fascia and ruby muscle. It's better to use touch than sight. I slide my index finger in and feel. When I was a student, one of my colleagues gave me a speech about how different cooks on a steak are similar to finding arteries versus veins. I don't remember which degrees she compared, but arteries are firmer than veins. Like flicking a rubber band, you'll know it when you feel it. All bodies are different, even the inner architecture. Some vessels are deep within, right next to your esophagus. Others are so shallow I get concerned. Are mine that surface level? That exposed and vulnerable? I find Peggy's carotid bundled, wrapped in nerves and tendons. I place the blunt hook inside, grazing against where my finger is, where the pulse used to be. My hook raises the bundle to the surface. I have the jugular encased in there too. I can see where the blood flow ceased between my fingers. I thread the sharp hook with the blunt one, gently moving them back and forth, side to side, wiggling each vessel free to lay bare on its own. Clear as day, my easel laid before me, supported on either side of my incision. I cut off bits of ligature. Who the hell keeps ordering the unwaxed thread? It's a preference. I don't have many. I always make do. I slide 2 bits of ligature around the carotid and one around the jugular. I tie them off and clamp down the ends together with the small forceps so I don't lose where the vessels are. I take my scalpel and pluck the edge until I have the tiniest incision. I gently slide the embalming machine's arterial tube inside. Arteries are resilient, but I don't want it to tear. I clamp it with large forceps so the embalming fluid doesn't shoot back at me. Yes, it's carcinogenic, but it's more annoying. I turn the dial on, gauging the pressure and speed. I like to start low and slow. You never know what you have in front of you until you do, and I'm more cautious. I use this time to close her features. Eye caps, giant plastic contact lenses with spiked divots go in Peggy's eyes to catch the skin on the inside of her eyelids and keep them closed. Then I take a long curved needle and go about closing her mouth. I thread the needle through her right nostril by starting inside her upper lip. Then I go into the left, like the world's worst septum piercing. I direct the thread on the right side down to the lower lip, threading it inside the gums on her lower teeth. I take the thread inside her mouth up to the left side and pierce into her nostril from her maxilla. I tie a knot and pull tight. Too tight. Her face looks unnatural and pinched. I loosen it and see the slightest of smiles. Peggy's got jokes. I tie the ends into bunny ears and hide the ligature inside her left nostril with large tweezers. During that time, the embalming fluid rushed to all corners of Peggy's arterial system, like how blood rushes through our vessels when our hearts beat, about a minute. I return to her jugular. The pressure has built up and Peggy's vein is bulging with blood. I take my scalpel and poke the balloon. A trickle of blood starts to flow out. If blood and embalming chemicals settle together, it can turn the skin gray. Can't have that. Pump the chemicals in and spill the blood out. I work carefully with angled forceps, tweezers bent at a 45-degree angle, to pierce the tiny incision and make it bigger. It holds the vein open so it doesn't collapse closed. The angled forceps hold the vein open for me to thread in and replace with larger angled forceps, 3 inches versus 10. I can chase the vein down to the chambers of her heart with its length. The dam breaks. Her blood is dark. From disease or medication, doesn't matter now. Focus. Her blood is a strong and powerful geyser that arcs over her right shoulder but stays on the table. The water hose is flowing and directs all fluids to the outer canals and down towards her feet, out the hole at the end, and down into the basin to safely drain. It's satisfying whenever it works this well. Thank you, Peggy. You must want to get this part over with. I promise to make you look good. I squeeze soap all over her skin and start to lather up. I scrub over her arms and wrists with my gloved hands, hitting pressure points where the arteries and veins weave. The last man I didn't date commented, "You've done this before," when I gave him a shoulder rub. I didn't have the heart to tell him how I got so good at this. Massage stimulates distribution. I want the fluids to circulate. The chemicals sanitize, preserve, but aren't permanent, and they're definitely not effective if not thorough. I watch her skin slowly glow pink from the peach dye. It's working. I take the time to clean under her fingernails. It's probably where she's dirtiest. Her ears and belly button are filthy too. Was she difficult to work with, or did her caregivers skip properly cleaning her? I scrub away all the dead skin and hope it helps the smell. I wonder if she was cool or if she sucked. I always assume my decedents are cool and we would have hung out in the real world. Until I get another cop on my table, or someone with a questionable tattoo. Call me an optimist. The blood flow starts to slow. I start to pull the angled forceps in and not all the way out, enough to reach deep, quickly grab, and pull. She has blood clots. I watch them slowly spill out of her. Some are like large fistfuls of black cottage cheese. Some are smaller and flat, flaky, like jarred roast peppers, with the charred bits floating around in an orange fermentation. Some are pink like chewed gum, pulled and stretched into long strings between teeth and fingers. It always comes back to food for me. I hear about those who go to funerals and get horny, need to hook up and fuck. Something about fighting death, something about animal instincts that acknowledges you're alive. Mine is eating. I really want a fried chicken sandwich now. The tank is low. I see the peach-pink dye reaching Peggy's fingertips, down to her toes, and up in her eyelids. Peggy is a sweetheart. In the biz, this is what we call a one-pointer. Doesn't happen very often, but I always feel like I've made a new friend when it does. I remove the arterial tube and tie off the vessel incisions with my ligatures. Then I get out the trocar, a long, hollow needle with a thick, arrowed tip that's about as long as my thigh. It's attached to a hose that empties into the basin. I turn the suction on and aim above her belly button. I pierce through. I shove the trocar into her again and again. It's violent no matter what care I put into it. Stab in a star pattern, trying to hit and drain out whatever fluids are left to slow down any chance of decomp. Her lungs are filled with pus. How long did she have to live like this? I angle the tip up and down, searching for blood, bile, and shit. I take about half the time it takes to inject the embalming chemicals. I want to be thorough, but the body needs time to see the full effects. Peggy needs to settle in for a bit. Before I sew up the incision by her collar, I cut her trachea to avoid purge. No one wants to see body fluids on their loved one's chin. Damn, the absorbent powder I pour into her incision is cheap, like cigarette ash. I sew her up with a baseball stitch, maybe 3 inches long. I have been making my incisions smaller and smaller. I inject cavity fluid in her abdomen, then close her up with a trocar button. It looks like a large plastic screw you'd use as an anchor in a wall. I disinfect my tools and go about washing Peggy again. I shampoo and condition her hair. Peggy has nice, dark silver hair, curly and wild. I dry her off. I put on a fresh adult diaper. I hope she's not offended, like how all the older people I take care of are cute to me. Would they hate that word? Would Peggy find it infantilizing? I don't know. I think most people of any age are cute, but especially the elderly ones. Should I do any restorative work? I stare at Peggy's face as if I haven't for the past 51 minutes. We're at time now, and our portal app keeps track. She's a little sunken. Do I build up her features? Mortician Botox her lips and cheeks to look fuller? There's still no picture in her profile, and they'll probably pick a flattering one, her favorite, from 30 years ago. Maybe a wedding photo. I don't like to do work I can't take back once it's done. The decision can wait. I don't want to give her a face no one remembers. I take Peggy's hand and look at her freckled skin. Is it weird to admit I like holding their hands? She looks cute. Dead, but cute. She looks like Peggy when she first came in, but cleaner and brighter. Is she just an easy case, or am I actually good at this? I start to pose Peggy as she will be in her casket, left hand over right on her stomach. I take a large paintbrush and spread cream all over her face and hands, keep her hydrated, and cover the creamed areas with plastic wrap, keep the flies out. We don't want maggots, and summer humidity doesn't make the prep room impenetrable. I cover Peggy with a sheet from our shelf of fresh laundry. I pick the only one that isn't white. It's flannel with a snowflake pattern. I need to do paperwork on her before I start the next case. I can't remember as easily if I wait to do all the reports in one batch at the end of the day. But first, a chicken sandwich.